2, 1, 4, 6.
Yeah! Still going to lose. I'll take the turn.
This is going to be a quick turn.
It's move as much as you can towards that objective.
Yeah. Those adjudicators are going to be sat there really hoping for some double ones off.
Liberators there, so they are a bit sturdier.
Oh, they're liberators. I thought they were adjudicators all this time.
And I'm just going to pause it here because it's a really big move. Russ has moved his Blood Warriors away from Venator and run them, and it looks like they're just within the objective as well. So they're not going to get into the combat. It's just going to be numbers on his side to capture, which is...
It's a very sensible tactic. It's one I'm sure trying to sort of perfect myself is the retreating to keep yourself within range of objectives. I tend to just get stuck in and be there until I'm dead.
Yeah, no, you get the blood rage, and I just want to take the models
every time.
So well done to keeping, even though sort of end of the game, it's probably in his favour. Just
well, it's all to play for down there. If those if a single failed charge here could swing it.
Yep, and those liberators, if they can hold on, they've got rerolls, so their shields might just keep them alive.
Moving the juggernauts into just in case.
Yeah, it's got a little
consolidating around the objective
at the top there. I don't know if they even bother putting the Skull Reapers into the Venator. Is there much point? There we are. Straight in.
Okay, this is going to be very difficult for the liberators.
Okay, Russ's turn 5 combat. Really strong position with those Wrathmongers now.
This is going to be bad. If Les loses too many, and
two
I think,
pop. That's not as many as could have gone down.
No, that's not bad. It's not bad. Of course, it will then turn around if the liberators themselves strike back. That is a danger.
Yeah, I think just looking at it.
Oh, he's dropped a Wrathmonger.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough though. There's 2 Blood Warriors who look like they're probably just in, and that does pip the Liberator numbers.
That'll give them 4 to the 3.
And I think that is...
I think that's the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well done, Russ. Just managing to get the Blood Warriors in. If he hadn't, Les would have held on to that objective. Having just pipped Russ with a few points there.
Once again, another example of how retreating from combat to get those objectives can win you the game.
Yeah, I think it's all about focus there, really. But well done, guys. We'll go over them to see their sort of final thoughts.
And try and listen in for Les's crying there, ladies and gentlemen. Just have a little listen.
Yeah, I think he's cleaned himself up now.
Yeah,
cool. Well, thank you very much, Panny. And
it's quite all right. Pleasure for inviting me, and look forward to seeing Les fluff some more charge rolls in the future.
Yeah, well, we always love it when he does.
So that brings the game to a conclusion.
You'll notice that we didn't actually go into my last turn, which was mainly due to the fact that even if I managed to kill the Wrathmongers and score the full 5 points, I would have lost by 1, wouldn't I? So it was we decided not to play at the final turn just because even
it's
though
quite late.
It's quite late. Yeah, we've
taken a long time.
We've been recording a while, so we thought we just end it where we were because I couldn't win. So
yeah, and I think we demonstrated the scenario in depth. But on that last turn, the fact that I ran the Blood Warriors out when I charged the previous turn, I charged round the Venator Hubert to block. I didn't pile into base contact, and I needed the 6 on the run to get 2 within range, and I rolled the 6. So if I hadn't rolled the 6, I would have only scored 5, and I would have lost that scenario.
Yeah.
So it did come down to that. I think there was a lot of moments in there that where the game could have swung. I mean, that you won the 2 priority rolls, and then
I think you were massively up early on. I think that if you look at the game, obviously you've just watched the whole report. You can see that early on I was throwing my models into the wall of corn and just getting taken off.
Spiky barrier,
Blood Warriors, and Wrathmongers and banners. But yeah, as you could see, I threw away my hard hitting units on Russ's, and in hindsight, I looking back at the game, I wouldn't have played it that way again. I think I probably would have made sort of sat off you a little bit. But I think
you play a longer game because it's like elves in a way in old editions of Warhammer. You've got some shooting. You're a mixed arms army.
Yeah.
So by sitting off, and you're not, because I'm not, in all likelihood, I'm not going to be on your objective.
No.
You're not losing anything waiting and it's that patience.
Yeah, that's something that I think I always tend to lose when I play with the Scarborn Slayers and Stormcast in general. Is that I want to deliver like the hammer blow as soon as possible and cripple the army. And I as you saw, like it bounced just because I sort of jumped the gun a little bit, trying to sort of like put you on the back foot early on. What do you think unit wise was like the best performer for you during the game, Russ?
I mean, I can't knock the Blood Warriors.
No.
I mean, to be honest, the Blood Warriors they're not brilliant, but in combination they're good. And what they do really well is people have got to deal with them.
Yeah.
And the problem is that by dealing with them, you're taking damage.
Yeah.
What's really good, and I've used in the past, is using the Chaos Sorcerer. It's not very cornet. Sorry out there, listeners.
Yeah.
Gamers out there. Is actually with Oculus getting to reroll ones on the save, and then giving a Mystic Shield means you're on a free up rerolling ones, and because you've got Gore Fists, every time you roll a 6, it's a mortal wound. So you make your save, so then you go, okay, I do a mortal wound. So if you're playing actually really good against Bloodbound, bizarrely, when you're playing a mirror match, because what it allows you to do is they roll lots of dice with no rend. Yeah, and you get to do mortal wounds back. It's a little bit like the Sister of the Fawn Shield you can do. They were good. Wrathmongers, they're Wrathmongers. They're always the winners.
Yeah,
they're the one thing in the army that allows me to deal with super characters. Otherwise, they're tough.
Yeah.
And then Blood Secretors, you can't knock them.
No,
it's immune to battle shot, +1 attack, stacking.
Yeah, with the ability to stack multiple banners is really good. How do you find the sort of like the command traits?
Amazing!
Work with the army there.
Yeah, really good, because what I found with with Chaos in general actually is that the damage output wasn't great. They roll a lot of dice, but not a lot happens.
Yeah.
But there's actually quite a lot of effects that work on a hit roll of a 6, so like Wrathmongers get +1 attack.
Yeah.
They get to reroll. They get an extra attack.
Yeah.
Which when they charge, they get +1 to hit. So they hit on 3s. That's on a 5-up. Then with the command ability, if you're within 10, because I took the ability suit against order, you're doing it on a 4-up.
Which is great.
Then if you roll the unpredictable destruction, it's then on a 3-up. And you just amazing. And then obviously Skull Reapers, these are gems. If you're out there, get to painting these, because 140 points
of win,
and the fact that if you give them Demon Blades, they have that mortal wound on a 6, but it's in addition to their damage. So they're really good. And actually, other Chaos players out there, going away from Bloodbound, even Blight Kings. So Blight Kings explode on 6s, so that's exploding on 5s or 4s. If you've got damn terrain, it's 3s, and they go into D6 hits. So there's so many stuff in the Chaos book which benefits from a hit roll, and you've got ways to buff the hit roll.
Yeah, you can
good.
That now.
I wasn't that impressed with it when I first saw it, and I thought actually it's really good, but it's even better against Order.
Yeah, I found it really, really difficult to play against. It was you especially not is it Skull Reapers? I can't think what they're called. Skull Reapers. When they went in and they were like doing the mortal wounds, and they were just like beat sticks. You just couldn't do anything with it, especially on the turn that you rolled that 6 and gave them the additional carnage or whatever it was that buffed them and made them sort of really dish out the damage. I actually think that some of the command trait is great with Chaos. I think it synergizes really well with the way that the army works. Not just that army, but on like paper, like Chaos in general.
I think if you go into a tournament, you'll probably take the one where you pick a unit within 3.
Yeah,
because it allows you to give it to a unit and move that unit away from that general model. Because mine's within 10, but only against Order. So it's not.
It's good.
It's good, but if you don't play Order, you don't get anything. So
I suppose
I think you go for that one. Or the other option is the 5-up devastation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good if you pick and choose depending on what sort of like the comp package you're playing in a tournament. I know under Warlords they're asking us to put.
Yeah, you've got to state
your choices in the list. So it depends. Some people might let you pick game to game. If you pick game to game, I think it's a massive power. In there, like
definitely.
You'd be like, I'm playing Order, take the Order one. Oh, I'm not playing Order, I'll just take the other one.
Yeah, and if you're playing against Order as well, you take the Talisman, which gives you a 5-up against Order.
Yeah.
And say, for example, you're playing Nurgle, you've got Harbinger, they give you your whole mortal army of 5 up, he'll then have a 5 up, 5 up on top of his normal save. So actually, it's really good. I didn't, obviously, there's some other things in there which are quite useful, but I wasn't that impressed with the Chaos Powers when I read them, but actually playing them in practice is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't really get the benefit of yours because you were immune to Battleshock, so...
Yeah. I think the overall order power wasn't... Because of the formation I took, it didn't really make much difference. I think...
The reroll charge was good.
I think there's a couple of things that I took away from the game. I think giving the Celestin, like the Relic Blade, was really good, just generally because I figure he puts out a lot of attacks when he goes into combat. The main issue you have with the Celestin, or how I found it over the games that I've played, is that he doesn't actually do enough damage when he goes in. It's very easy for him to not sort of like, just to bounce because it's only damage 1. Giving him the Relic Blade, allows him to be damage 2 on that sword. So on the charge, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s. If he gets off his command ability, then he's hitting on 2s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. He's going to put a lot of hurt through, really.
And I think you gave me away quite cheaply in that game. So
I
got the maximum use out of them, really.
Again, it was more a case of like not really considering what everything did and how it interplayed. And I again, like as you can set down the game, I didn't necessarily need to activate him so early. I should have done the protectors, and it would have perhaps gave him the opportunity to be alive a bit more. Or
honestly, I just think the people out there, you've got the Bloodsecrated banners are great. But they're 18 inches and they can't move. So if you've got the double banner plant and you go into that, you're gonna get a world of hurt.
Yeah,
100%. If you make the Khorne army come at you, then you wait to their inner turn where the banners to be up later turns to actually get the benefit aren't planted.
So
because they've got to move. Forward, so if you wait for the turn they're not planted and then drop with your Skyborn Slayers, then I might have 1 down, because the idea is where I take 2 is 1 runs, 1 plants, then the next one runs, the other one plants, and you kind of alternate. You're not getting the double plant.
No.
And once they're running across the table, they're not. They can be shot off with your super bow or your prime and your mortal wound stick and all that. So
I think one of the things that I've always done with Age of Sigmar, or what I learned early on with Age of Sigmar, is that you kill the characters that provide the buffs and the synergies throughout the list. And I completely threw that to the wind in this game, didn't do any of it. Not sure whether that's because I didn't have enough with the reach out and touch you from across the other side of the table, and you had like a wall of Khorne in front of all your characters. So you
that's the reason they're so far back.
Yeah, you obviously protecting them, aren't you?
And the point is, I took redundancy. I took 2 banners. I gave my character with the extra, with those +1 to hits in general. I made him have a 5 up extra save. So. And he's on the Juggernaut, so he's got more wins. So it's kind of... took him because he's fast to get where he needs to be, and also he's quite tough to kill.
Yeah, he's resilient. I'd be lucky to shoot him off if I got the Venator bow through, which, I didn't even shoot him with the Venator bow in the end. But I think that your list worked really well together, and I think that, in general, the list that I took was... I think it had its benefits and it was very powerful. I think I played the game badly from the outset. I played it really badly the first sort of like 2-3 turns.
I think you scrambled well though towards the end of the game. I think you kind of
practice that.
You played a couple of turns. You went, oh god, that hasn't gone well.
Yeah,
and then you scrambled pretty well. I think the turn when you had the Fulminators.
Yeah,
we were discussing that when we were on the phone, but we said that actually you should have probably either moved across to use the breath to play for the double turn, or just back off. And wait until, because at the end of the day, the objective was down. You know where the objective is. Just stand next to it. Make me come across the board. And then when I'm out, out away from the banners and away from, then you can go in charge and you're maximising your shooting. You're not and that unit is really scary. It is going to delete something.
again, I think it all comes down to playing to the mission in hand and not playing to beat your opponent. I had sort of like my blood was up and I was like, right, I'm just going to smash these fulminators in, I'm going to kill some stuff, when realistically I should have moved them backwards across the board, like you said, and got them around the objective, because it was already, I had like a strong base where the objective was. I could have essentially fortified that a bit more, had the fulminators there to sort of counter attack the juggernauts that you had on my left deployment zone, and then made your foot sloggers come across the board, and still played for the prime to go and sort of like deal with the stuff on your objective.
Yeah, and I think in that scenario, if you've got anything that can teleport, is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
you're summoning, your Sylvaneth, Wave Pipes, your Fire Slayer, tunneling, your Stormcast drop, your whatever else you can use. There's lots of stuff in the game that allows you to set a unit up. Your Flesh Eaters summon on a unit
from the behind
the back. Anything like that can get a unit to, because you score in your turn. As long as you come down and you go in and you capture on that turn, you score the points, and then you're behind.
Yeah.
So even if they clear you off and score anyway, you're still up, because that's what you did. You were up. Even with me scoring, you were up by 4. And it's just the fact that because I scored the 10, it's hard. And I think that mission is really all about patience.
Yeah, I am looking at the mission. I really like the mechanic with scoring in like the rounds, and obviously it ticks up. So turn 2, the objective points are worth 2 points. Turn 3, they're worth 3 points. 4, they're worth 4. 5, they're worth 5. So again, playing late game tactics in that mission is going to score you. I mean, you're going to need to be scoring early as well to sort of like tick it up, but I think the last turn 4 and 5 are the real big important turns. They're the really important turns, to be able to at least try and secure you the win or get you in that position where you've got the best opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, and I think I mean, for me, I struggled because of where the meteor turned up.
Yeah,
it was in the worst place for me, really, in that corner. It meant I didn't really have the speed to get across. I did eventually, but I mean, even doing stuff like retreating out of combat just to be within range of it.
Yeah,
it's have to do it really.
Popping that 6, So
exactly.
But you played it smart. You needed to be able to contest that objective, and I think that's one of the. I mean, that's the only mission that I've played at the General's Handbook. I mean, I know you've played them when you went up to Warhammer World and stuff, and have the design studio. But for me, I thought it was really, really cool. It's going to give. I can imagine there's going to be a few people that haven't played that mission will find it if they just go in. If they go in dry to a tournament and never played that mission, they're going to be like they're mind blown. I know for instance, me not playing it before and not really thinking about it until talking about it this morning when we started the filming. It really caught me out, and I think when the General's Handbook is released and I get my copy of it, I'm going to be able to sit down and really sort of like look at the missions, because I think playing to the mission and to the scenario will not only affect the way that you build your lists going into stuff like Warlords, or if you go the Rain of Stars or something like that.
FaceHammer GT.
FaceHammer GT, you need to really consider the fact that each mission is different and each unit scores differently in each of the
you need to be careful because the different missions score different ways.
Yeah,
and I think you have to design a list that can compete in every mission.
Yeah,
because there's 6 of them. They're all slightly different, and some are hard. If you haven't got the good defensive heroes, then one's going to be a nightmare. If you haven't got fast units, everyone's going to be a nightmare. But
especially if we move away from the sideboard mechanic, which is something that we had before with the pool system and stuff. If we move away from the sideboard mechanic, it's then going to force people to not have sort of like polar opposite lists, and they're going to have a general all-comers list, which will then have a really good effect and balance in the game overall. Because
I think it's twofold. You could have games that are a bit of a non-game if you get the wrong matchup, which I like the sideboard mitigating that. But then you also got the fact if the sideboard is too good, then you don't have to think about it. So it's kind of that balance. I mean, we've got an idea for the event that we're going to run, so maybe we'll try that. I hope happens is TOs, the events are different. There's different at different events because it keeps it fresh. But that was I'll say that is my proper first playthrough of General's Handbook.
Yeah, mine too.
And the scenario felt good. It felt tight, and
I thought it was great. I think it was probably not played many scenarios out of the Age of Sigmar books, and I'm referring back to like 8th edition with like Battle for the Past and sort of like you know, Watchtower for people who haven't. People who obviously change from 8th to Age of Sigmar know what I'm talking about. People who don't, then they don't, which is a bit different. But even the missions in the older edition, I felt that mission in the General's Handbook felt a lot tighter, a lot more slick.
Well, I'd hope so, as we helped.
Yeah. So
because the 8th edition, when I remember the Masters, I went with that.
Yeah,
it was just a non-starter. A lot of those games, and
with
I think
the Watchtower.
It was really. I mean, you know, it was really great to be part of that experience, and you can hear about that if you listen to the shows and stuff that's out there. But I think I'm really excited about sort of Tournament Warhammer again. I mean, I've always been excited about it. But the best thing is official Tournament Warhammer.
Official,
GW. So, well, hopefully, guys, this video's been entertaining. You've enjoyed the back and forth with the battle report. You've seen a bit of the General's Handbook. You've seen some of the rules in action. We've talked about some of the things you can do and some of the list decisions. I mean, if you want to know more, listen to our show. We talk about tactics all the time. It's what we do. It's our sort of forte.
It's what we do, yeah. I mean, if you want to ask any questions about the stuff that we do during sort of like some of our thoughts about the game, obviously, like, leave them in the comments below, and we'll try and get back to you. You can find us on all the normal social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, and your Facebook. So if you give us a follow and a like, you can contact us that. And also there'll be, I assume, some sort of banner telling you way to get in contact with us.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, and
or
just
in the notes. There'll be some way.
But and just in case you've stumbled upon this, we've actually got a podcast as well, which is you need to go to for all your Age of Sigmar tournament needs and tactics and stuff. So
we do some reviews and products and stuff. There'll be more video content coming out. There's going to be a lot of coverage from the FaceHammer GT. There's still tickets available as we're recording this, but who knows at the time. But have a look. If there's still tickets available on the Element Games website, it's our sponsor, Element Games. Then come along. Come along. It'll be great. We're playing with Joe's Handbook. So hopefully we'll see you there, and hopefully you've enjoyed the video.
Yeah, hopefully you've took something away from it. And I know I definitely have. I haven't played the game. And thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.